I'm George Wang, Chief Marketing Officer with Peterson Technology Partners. And today we have Casey Hossa, Chief Information Officer with Cardinal Healthcare Innovations. Casey, you've been in the healthcare space for quite some time, and I know you're passionate about many things, including artificial intelligence. Could you share with the audience some of the things that you're doing in this space?
George, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. I've got a real passion around healthcare, and I've been both on the payer side and on the provider side. And in fact, everyone in my family is in healthcare, from either practitioners in some form or part of the insurance payer or provider organization. In this industry, and I think particularly healthcare CIOs are really accelerating the deployment of advanced analytics for both clinical care and operations. But George, in this industry, one of the challenges that we have is like any other industry. It's really that this industry has persistently ignored the practice of good data governance. And so the challenge oftentimes becomes the opportunity to get that established, and the length of time required to get that established is a pretty lengthy period of time. And so organizations, and specifically in healthcare, clinicians, they've got to have trust in the data, before you apply AI tools or anything else up on top of it. And so I think the benefit that organizations can take advantage of is the ability to apply some modern techniques to data governance, right? How do you begin to segment and look at some data domains, a subset of the data elements, and start to address data standardization and normalization? One of the things that's really interesting in this space is if you take a look at AI specifically, there's a bit of a misconception in the marketplace. So organizations, I don't think, have realized that AI is a commodity solution, and you really need to begin to understand the core problem you're trying to solve. And then foundational to that, before you apply some form of AI, whether that is assisting intelligence, augmented intelligence, autonomous intelligence, you've got to have good data, and you've got to understand the problem that you're trying to solve. In this particular industry, at an aggregate, probably one of the most successful use cases for AI is really around radiology diagnosis. And physicians are, quite honestly, able to take some of these deep learning platforms and not only bring together unstructured medical data like radiology images, but they're able to bring together blood tests, EKGs, genomics, patient medical history to give doctors better insight into a patient's real-time needs. Healthcare organizations, whether you're on the healthcare delivery side or you're on the payer side, all of these organizations are focused on executing population health management and transitioning to digital care delivery models, right? Because we know that it's a more cost-effective way to meet the healthcare needs. The challenge is many of these organizations require data that is outside of their own four walls. And so the bigger issue, I think, George, in this space is going to be the traditional solutions that are out there, whether they're HIEs or ETLs, solve for particular problems that are specific. Organizations are going to have to start to understand what they need over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. What is that vision? What's that strategic plan look like? What are those strategic objectives? And then begin to figure out how to identify the data domains, and then start to address these data bottlenecks, right? To bring together the data curation, the mapping, et cetera, and actually apply the right AI capabilities on top of that to solve for those needs.
That was wonderful sharing. I mean, in the end, right now, given the COVID situation, what you're doing along with the payers and the providers is so important. And to the extent that artificial intelligence or deep learning can help not just maybe improve the patient experience, but the patient outcomes, that is so critical with everything going on.
I would agree, George. And I think we take a look at many industries, right? And it's been automation, right, in some form, computer-assisted automation, AI, whatever that might be, that I think is going to really give us the opportunity to not only have better quality health outcomes, but start to address the cost curve, which is a significant issue in this particular industry. And we know within this country, it's a significant portion of our overall GDP. And so it's with tools like this and the ability to look ahead that I think we're going to really start to have an impact on healthcare cost and outcomes.
For the audience, would you say that a good percentage of your peers, kind of in the healthcare payer space, are applying techniques in artificial intelligence? Where would you rate your company in that adoption curve?
I think the biggest challenge that we're all facing in this particular industry is the ability to bring together the data and have good data governance around it. I would say that many organizations have dabbled in some form of AI, and oftentimes it's focused on some of the machine learning capabilities. Um, and but I don't think I have not heard of many that have really been immensely successful and are able to make significant inroads there. And I think it's just because this industry, like many others, have faced data governance challenges. And it takes some time to begin to build trust in that data and the outcomes associated with these models.
If there were 2 or 3 steps for a secret sauce to get an organization started in this AI or machine learning journey, what might that be?
Oh, great question, George. First off, I think what's fantastic in this world is today there are platforms and tools that are readily available off the shelf that you can begin to leverage. Now, what you have to begin to do is to understand what you're trying to get accomplished and begin to take advantage of looking ahead. What are the important questions that your organization needs to answer? What's going to have the biggest impact on the populations that you serve, right? On the members that you serve. And so the ability to understand that with level of specificity and begin to understand that with some specific questions that you're trying to address that you know will have an impact, you can quickly take advantage of curating the data and applying some of the tools that are out there, formalizing it in a way to answer the questions that you need to have answered, right? Um, I think those are really the steps, right? I don't think it's rocket science. I don't know if it's a secret sauce, George, but I think it's the ability to look ahead far enough and to know that there are some steps here that you need to pursue.
Casey, thank you so much. Your insights were wonderful, and I'm sure our audience is going to learn something today. Thank you again.